Last Sabbath, I shared several clips showing what digital ID is, what many within the European Union are talking about, are exposing the same way they expose the COVID pandemic crisis. I would like to compile all those clips for you without any interruption, for you to pay attention carefully how the rocks are crying out, are warning us of what we are facing, which is fulfilling Bible prophecy, specifically Revelation chapter 13, verses 16 and 17. Listen carefully.
If you go back to 9/11, and when Wesley Clark said we're gonna invade 7 countries in 5 years, what you were talking about were the countries where those central banks were not on board to do programmable money. And their governance structures were not on board with essentially, because of Epstein, I'll call it the Rockefeller Rothschild model. There was an effort to say, okay, we're going to basically assert control of the central banks in those countries. One of the reasons we're seeing so much tension around Iran is because Iran right now is the big leakage in the system.
How?
So
it's not about their nukes?
No. Iran's central bank counts. One of the reasons it counts is because their oil and energy is very important, including for China.
Yeah.
And that's very important in the BRICS system. What the BRICS system is trying to do is to create independent payment systems. But if you're going to come out with programmable money, with digital IDs that are interoperable globally and programmable money that controls in each jurisdiction centrally, you can't afford leakage. And so you've got way too much leakage in the system to proceed with what they're trying to do. And Iran and the BRIC nations are a sticking point. And certainly Iran's oil, feeding China gives China greater independence.
Remember the COVID certificate, the green digital certificate that it was called here in the EU? That was supposedly for our health. They were concerned about our health. Well, let me tell you, they weren't. They were not. It was actually introduced. That was like a test balloon. They were implementing it and getting people used to having to show something wherever they went, whether it be a supermarket or a shoe store or riding on a bus or even getting into a movie theater. That's what they were implementing at that point. They were getting you used to showing some form of a certificate to pretty much do whatever you wanted. And some people weren't allowed to do what they wanted, because if you didn't have a digital green certificate, guess what? You were no longer included in going after just regular activities. And that's what we're actually looking at once they roll out the digital ID. And a quick look to China, and you will get an idea of what we are actually about to experience.
But it's the transactions, and here, of course, what is the programmability? Well, is the infrastructure being created? It could be anything. It could be climate change, carbon footprint. That could be the principle, but it can be other principles. Do you support the war? Are you on the right side with your opinion on whatever currently is, countries we're making war on? It could be anything. It could be you're stepping outside a 15-minute city, and so your money perhaps shouldn't work. But it's not just transactions. It's also assets. And this gets pretty scary here, I think. The Bank for International Settlement, the central bank, originally created, like most central banks, as a privately owned institution, but extraterritorial. It created the precedent for extraterritorial organization that is above countries, outside countries. So it's sort of in Switzerland, but it's not actually in Switzerland, in Basel. Has suggested that, we need to tokenize everything, all assets, and bank deposit, bank money, central bank money, as well as other assets. And there needs to be seamless integration of all this and programmability in one platform, we are told. So what are these other assets? It turns out we already have national organizations that are currently compiling asset registers. And you think, okay, that's financial assets. Perhaps add land? Well, you can add quite a lot. They want to add everything natural assets. The air we breathe, the water we drink, the oceans, everything. Now, why is this? Tolstoy wrote a good piece on this when he criticized economists for only having land, labor, capital in the production function. Why is the air not in there? The energy, the sun. Well, because they haven't figured out how to control access and charge for it. And that's what's happening with digital ID. They now are able to do this. And now they want to do it, as we hear from World Economic Forum agenda contributor Lindsay Hooper at Sustainability Institute in Cambridge. We need to bring nature onto the balance sheet, allocate a value to it and bring it into the accounting and financial mechanism. So can we trust the central banks to give them yet more power? I think the answer should be a resounding no. The high inflation that started in 21 was created by the central banks. No matter what they tell you about wars, the economics is very clear. I could forecast it quite successfully from May 2020 onwards that 18 months later we'll get significant inflation because the money creation was just massive, off the charts. Then the central banks imposed a fake pandemic, you know that story. And we know that people like Jeffrey Epstein, it's now a public record, were involved as early as 2017 in setting up the scheme of this great pandemic for some investors to make a fortune, such as Bill Gates. And then we can also make money injecting people with stuff and solve the problem, as Epstein and Bill Gates discussed, matter of public record, of how to get rid of the poor people. And of course, it was used at the same time to push digital ID.
Now, these digital IDs can be used to establish an infrastructure that could lead to a Chinese-style social credit system. And the pretext for this change, it can be the pretext can be to stop illegal immigration, or to stop election fraud, or to protect children. But whatever the pretext, the result is the same: building a control grid. So in China, if you want to see where we're headed, they've got a social credit system where they've got a digital ID, and it's an app on people's phones, and they centralize through artificial intelligence everything about a person that comes from the digital world. So it can be facial recognition, real-time geolocation, where you live, where you work, your social media posts, your internet spending history, your internet search history, your medical history, your criminal history if you have one. And they put it all together to have an assessment of how trustworthy of a citizen that you are. Trustworthy in China means you do everything you're told and you never make any waves. You certainly never criticize the government. Now, this is the kind of thing that is technologically possible in the West. It's not like China is ahead of us technologically. We can do this, and I'm worried that we will do it if we don't resist it. So, the World Economic Forum created a chart. Could you put the chart up, please? Okay. This appeared on their website in January of 2021 at the height of COVID, and it's embedded in an article entitled How Digital Identity Can Improve Lives in a Post-COVID World. And this chart is a vision of what a full-blown digital ID would offer. The digital IDs would be used to open bank accounts, travel, access humanitarian aid, buy and sell online, use social media, file taxes, vote, collect government benefits, own or use a telecommunications device like a laptop or a cell phone, and to monitor smart cities.
The ID 2020 has been chipping babies in Bangladesh and also in Kenya with a proof of vaccination chip. I consider this an absolute crime against humanity. Chipping strips persons of their dignity and their human rights. What happens in Africa today is planned to happen all over the world. The fear is that nobody can stop the cartel at this point because they have become too powerful. Our politicians are working for the cartel as their employees.
And in this article, the World Economic Forum holds up as a positive example the Estonian digital identity approach. And if any place does have what amounts to a mandatory digital ID, it's Estonia. And I would note that during COVID, if an adult in Estonia refused vaccination or testing, they would be shut out and denied access to restaurants, entertainment venues, gyms, conferences, and public meeting places. So this shows the true intent of the digital IDs. And when combined with central bank digital currencies, the control grid is complete because they can control you through every aspect of your life. So we're talking about programmable money, meaning that if they can say, if you can spend your money, when you can spend your money, like let's say there's another pandemic, and let's say that you are deciding that you're not going to be vaccinated or you're not going to get, the fifth booster or what have you. They could say, okay, you need to be quarantined in your own home, so they can program your money so that it does not work outside of your home. So you can't get into the car and buy gas. You can't do anything outside, or they could say you have to, if they want to discourage saving, they could say you have to spend it by a certain date. They could say you can only, if you've already flown someplace and you've used up your carbon credit, they can stop you from buying another flight that year. I mean, the list goes on. It's, as much as you can imagine is what they can do with programmable money.
If I said, okay, you've got a lockdown and your money won't work if you leave your house. You can't buy gas in your car because your money is programmed with AI and software to enforce a whole set of centralized rules. And that requires a large infrastructure of surveillance. And now people are seeing it snap into place. People will tell you if you go to Walmart, you leave your phone in the car and you use cash, you come out having made a purchase, and the next thing you know, the next day on your phone, you get a text from the company of the product you bought at Walmart. So they were able to identify you. It's because of the biometrics. They have your facial recognition.
What happens if the government issues digital currency?
There will be no privacy, and it's a very effective controlling mechanism by the government. All the transactions will be known, all transactions done with digital currencies, which is good for illegal activities, getting control of illegal activities, but it also means that the government has a great deal of control. For example, they can tax that way, they can take your money, they can establish foreign exchange controls. Let's say if you're a Frenchman and they wanted to have sanctions, they could take your money.
And if you're politically disfavored, you could be shut off.
Politically disfavored, you could be shut off, yes.
And the UK government has initially it announced mandatory digital ID through something called the Brit card, which sounds very patriotic, until you realise that Brit actually stands for biometric registration, identification and tracking, which they didn't tell the British people. Our government has now announced, in the face of a public backlash, 2/3 of the UK population have reservations about digital ID and don't really want it. They basically said it's no longer mandatory, but you'll have to have it to be able to function in our society moving forward. Our global masters, the self-proclaimed elites, yes, those people who perpetrate horrendous crimes against children, have decided for us that the social model moving forward will be the Chinese social credit scoring system. They cannot sell that to us through the ballot box democratically, so they have to bring it in by subterfuge, and that is exactly what's happening now. Digital ID is a trap, and it's always better to avoid a trap than to try and get out of it once we're in it. If we agree to digital ID, we'll be giving control of almost every aspect of our lives to our governments. We'll not only be giving every aspect of our lives to our governments, but we'll be giving every aspect of our children's lives, our grandchildren's lives, and indeed generations of our nations yet unborn. Well, because this digital ID is a one-way street. No government's ever going to give that power up. And to give this much power to any government, you'd have to trust them implicitly. I would ask you, how much do you all trust your governments, particularly in the wake of the pandemic response? and the way they treated us.
Once this digital gulag is in place, there will be no dissent, because as soon as you voice a dissenting opinion, you will be shut down, canceled, and paralyzed by being cut off from your money. We all need to resist and do our best to escape before the trap snaps shut. Thank you.
And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name.
Just remember, this is not something that's coming in the future, that they are warning you about. This is something that is already being implemented. As they mentioned China, it's the same system of this social credit society that China has implemented, that they are trying to implement throughout the whole world as if it's a virus, just like COVID. Remember, last year, the end of last year, Europe tried to bring that to the front, but there was an outcry about it, so they push it back. So it's coming again. The best thing we can do right now, based on everything that's taking place, is to get ready, because indeed, Jesus is even at the door because of the signs of the times that are being fulfilled very, very rapidly. Get ready, brothers and sisters. Our Savior is coming.
Just over the mountains in the promised land lies the holy city built by God's own hand. As our weary footsteps gain the mountain's crest, we can view our homeland of eternal. We are nearing home. We are nearing home. See the splendor gleaming from the domes afar. See the glory streaming through the gates ajar. There we soon will enter, nevermore to roam. Hear the angels singing, we are nearing home. We are nearing home. In the rolls of the prophets we have long been told of that wondrous city with its streets of gold. Now with raptured vision we can see it there, with its walls of jasper and its mansions fair. We are nearing home. We are nearing home. See the splendor gleaming from the domes afar. See the glory streaming through the gates ajar. There we soon will enter, nevermore to roam. Hear the angels singing, we are nearing home. We are nearing home. Those who enter that city are the faithful few, who keep God's commandments, faith of Jesus too. There very soon will enter nevermore to roam. Hear the angels singing, we are nearing home. We are nearing home. My brother, my sister, will you meet us there? In that land of sunshine where there'll be no care, accept all God's message and to Him be true. Then when Jesus cometh, He will call for you. We are nearing home. We are nearing home. See the splendor gleaming from the dawns afar. See the glory streaming through the gates ajar. Very soon we'll enter nevermore to roam. Hear the angels sing.